Okay, I got to talk about something that is boring. It's not record-setting horsepower with like this S650, which totally has made 1077 to the tire. Not important. I want to talk about crank pulleys because this topic comes up literally constantly, and people ask me all the time because they know I've tuned frickin' hundreds of these things, and they're like, "Are you worried about crank pulleys?" I'm like, "No, not even remotely." I mean, my personal Coyote powered boosted vehicles have a cumulative mileage now, probably like 300, 400,000 miles. Never had a crank issue. Anyways, I think that's because of two major things. And I try to repeat this as much as I can on the internet, but hopefully this video does a little better job. Number one reason I see the failures, improper crank pulley installations. Yes, like if you're not using a hone to install your crank pulley, or sorry, I should say aftermarket balancer, you probably did it wrong. I'll be honest. If you just ram jam that thing on there, you probably pissed the crank off. That's all there is to it. Read the instructions. I guarantee it tells you that you probably have to hone it to get it to fit your crank because they all are a little bit different. Secondly, rev limiters. Dude, come on, guys. When you are banging and popping out the tailpipe, when you hit a rev limiter or if there's flames or whatever, dude, the engine is going back and forth, and that puts tons of stress on the front of the crank. Doesn't matter if it's NA or turbo or any of that. You still have timing chains and an oil pump on the front of the crankshaft. Obviously, a blower doesn't help the situation, but my method of a rev limiter when I tune cars for customers is a very soft limiter. And what do I mean by that? I mean, it just goes whoop and limits the power until you let your foot off the gas. That's it. It's very simple. It's like kind of like when you rev match your gears. Here's a dyno video of what that sounds like. So there you go. Does it sound as cool as the whap up 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 or whatever? Absolutely not. However, I can safely say I guarantee that crank pulley is a lot happier than it going whack, 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 whack back and forth at a rapid rate of speed. Now, does this mean that it will never break a crank ever? No, absolutely not. I mean, let's be honest. Coyotes naturally aspirated have broken cranks. Coyotes with turbos have broken cranks. Coyotes with blowers have broken cranks. But it is, at least in my experience, extremely rare. Again, I've tuned thousands of these cars, and I can count on this hand, actually probably it's like 3 or 2 of how many customers I know that have had a broken crank. And one of those honestly probably was from a wrong installation of a crank pulley. But that's not the point. Point is, soft rev limiters are your friend. They should react fast. Like, you don't want one of those rev limiters that's like, whee, and just hanging out there for days. That's nonsense. You'll crash the car if you do that kind of stuff. You want it to when you lift off the gas, power comes down, you get back in it, power comes right back up. Again, if you want the bang and pops, that's cool. Just don't be upset when you're the guy wondering why your motor's broken or your timing chains are failed or your crank sprockets are cracked or whatever. Okay, so be nice to your engine. It'll be nice to you. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.